Hi, hello everyone! I'm Toshi from Japan and tourist guide for foreigners. In this video, I'll show you
why I keep saying traveling to Japan as soon as possible. I've been getting a lot of questions lately from viewers about whether they should visit Japan now or wait a little longer. There are many reasons behind these questions. Some are concerned about over-tourism and crowded tourist spots. Others are worried about the summer heat, the possibility of earthquakes, or the rising cost of travel due to the yen getting stronger. However, as I've mentioned in my previous video, I always say, if you want to come to Japan, come as soon as possible, but I haven't fully explained why I feel this way. In this video, I'll share my thoughts based on 9 key risks that might impact your trip. By watching this video, you will not only understand why you should visit Japan soon, but you will also be able to have a fun and comfortable trip to Japan. So, stick around and watch until the end.
So, let's get started.
Number 1. Disappearing destination. Japan is a large country with a population of 125 million people, but by 2050, it's projected to drop by 30 million, down to 95 million. That's equivalent to losing the entire population of the greater Tokyo area. With this decline, tax revenues will fall, making it harder to maintain tourist sites. Tourist spots also face risks from disasters. For example, Shuri Castle in Okinawa was destroyed by a mysterious fire in 2019, and Kumamoto Castle, one of Japan's top 3 castles, was severely damaged by an earthquake in 2016. While both are under restoration, experts say it's nearly impossible to fully restore them to their original state. Additionally, over-tourism has led to new restrictions. For example, Mount Fuji now faces tighter regulations, and in Kyoto's Gion district, where geishas perform, certain areas are now off-limits to tourists.
So this means that the tourist destinations you expect to see today may not be the same when you visit in the future.
Number 2. Disappearing culture. As I mentioned earlier, Japan's population is projected to drop by 30 million by 2050, going from 125 million to 95 million. This population decline is creating a serious issue. There are fewer successors to carry on the country's historical festivals. Many traditional Japanese festivals are key attractions for tourists, but maintaining them is becoming increasingly difficult. At the same time, traditional Japanese inns, which are a major part of Japan's cultural heritage and highly popular among foreign visitors, are also declining each year. This is partly due to the westernization of Japan and the increasing presence of global hotel chains, which are drawing demand away from these traditional accommodations.
This means that in the future, some of Japan's most beloved cultural elements, like festivals and traditional Japanese inns, may disappear.
Number 3. Overcrowding.
Japan's popularity among foreign tourists is skyrocketing. In July 2024, the number of visitors reached 3.9 million, a 10.9% increase from the previous year. This marks the 5th consecutive month with over 3 million visitors, hitting record numbers. As a result, popular tourist destinations like Kyoto and Mount Fuji are facing over-tourism issues. But according to the Japanese government, they expect 35 million visitors by the end of 2024, and the goal is to nearly double that to 60 million by 2030. So, this trend is likely to continue, and with more visitors comes more crowding. To address this, the Japanese government is working to encourage foreign tourists to explore regional areas to ease the pressure on major cities. If you want to know more about some great rural destinations, check out my previous video.
Number 4. Travel costs.
Japan has experienced a historic currency drop, with the yen hitting a 30-year low. This made travel to Japan about 40% cheaper for foreign tourists compared to pre-pandemic prices. However, this trend is starting to shift. At the end of July 2024, the Bank of Japan raised interest rates, while the US Federal Reserve hinted at lower rates due to slowing inflation. As a result, the yen has strengthened, moving from 160 yen to 143 yen per US dollar, marking a 4.5-month high. In addition, after decades of stable prices, Japan is now facing rising costs due to external factors like oil prices and currency fluctuations. Plus, as I mentioned in my previous video, the Japanese government is also considering new tourist taxes.
All these changes mean that the cost of visiting Japan is likely to increase in near the future. Number 5. Transport infrastructure maintenance.
As I mentioned in the first chapter, Japan's population is expected to decline from 125 million to 95 million by 2050. With this population drop, tax revenues are likely to decrease, making it harder to maintain the current level of transportation infrastructure across the country. Rural areas, in particular, could see train and bus services shut down due to a lack of profitability. This means it becomes difficult to reach certain destinations if the public transport systems are no longer available. In some cases, taxis might be the only option, which can be quite expensive.
As I experienced in my previous video, Japanese taxis are notoriously pricey, so it's best to avoid them when possible. Number 6. Climate change.
Japan is already feeling the effects of global warming, with temperatures rising every year. We're seeing more instances of extreme weather, and summer, from July to September, is becoming increasingly unbearable with high humidity and scorching heat. Emergency calls for heat stroke are rising every year. In 2024, the cherry blossom season was delayed by about a week, and the rainy season started 2 weeks later than usual. Similarly, the fall foliage season is also expected to be delayed, as announced by the Japanese government in September 2024.
As these climate change become more frequent, there is a possibility that some regions may no longer have their iconic cherry blossoms or autumn leaves in the future. Number 7. Disaster.
As many of you know, Japan is one of the most earthquake-prone countries in the world. In August 2024, the Japanese government issued a warning that there's a 70% chance of a massive Nankai Trough earthquake with a magnitude of 8 to 9 occurring within the next 30 years. This has made headlines globally, so you may have already heard about it. Historically, this type of earthquake occurs every 90 to 150 years, and as time goes by, the likelihood of it happening increases. I've explained this in more detail in a previous video, so feel free to check that out if you're interested.
Additionally, the effects of global warming are also contributing to more frequent and powerful typhoons, which further add to Japan's disaster risks. Number 8. Deteriorating security.
Japan is widely known as one of the safest countries for travelers, with low crime rates and a reputation for safety. However, it's often said that there's a connection between the economy and public safety. When the economy struggles, crime rates can rise. Unfortunately, Japan's economy has been stagnant for the last 30 years, and we're starting to see incidents that were once unthinkable. It's also important to be aware of scammers targeting tourists. Some examples include fake monks asking for donations, illegal bars in places like Shinjuku or Roppongi that charge outrageous prices, and even incidents where drinks are spiked with sleeping pills to rob people. Your safety is the top priority when traveling, so make sure to stay alert.
I've covered more details about these scams in my previous video, so be sure to check it out. Number 9. Japanese foods.
In recent years, Japan's seafood industry has seen a significant decline in fish catches compared to a decade ago. Fish like Pacific Sory, salmon, yellowtail, squid, and Spanish mackerel are becoming harder to catch during their traditional seasons. One of the main reasons for this is climate change. Waters around Japan are warming, causing these fish to migrate further north.
If this trend continues, sushi and sashimi, two of Japan's most popular dishes, may become much more expensive and harder to find in the future. Number 10. Conclusion and advice.
In light of the 9 risks I've discussed, I strongly believe that if you're thinking of visiting Japan, you should do it as soon as possible. The Japan you imagine today may not be the same when you decide to visit in the future. That's why I recommend planning your trip as early as you can. I truly believe that visiting now will be a more enjoyable and comfortable experience than waiting 5 or 10 years. My hope is that you can explore Japan's beautiful sights, nature, culture, and cuisine while it's still affordable and accessible.
How was this video?
Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like button. See you in my next video. Bye!